Now the V8 Supercars are back out on the Calder Park Raceway. We get ourselves set for race 3. This has been the opening round of the 97 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Here are the points for you. Wayne Gardner is at the top of the tree at the moment by a mere 6 points over Glenn Seaton, and Greg Murphy back in third.
Yeah, Greg Murphy in third, Mark Scaife in fourth, Alan Jones in fifth, and Russell Ingall in sixth. That just shows you consistency. Jones is still up there in fifth. That's not bad.
He's had a very good day's racing, and it really is coming down to this third and final one. Just looking at Glenn Seaton there, just accelerating and braking, just getting some heat into the tyres, getting himself set, just having a look down as we have a look at the Shell Helix grid. Off the front row is Wayne Gardner and Glenn Seaton, the man we were just riding with. Row 2 is Russell Ingall and Mark Scaife.
Yeah, row 3 is Alan Jones and John Bowe. Row 4 is Greg Murphy.
Well, Murph would be a little bit disappointed with himself after out-braking himself and going off at the end of the main straight, but gee, he fought back well.
Oh, he did fall back well, but I think he's knocked himself off the Christmas card list for a couple of people, especially Larry Perkins, because Larry wasn't too happy. He got a tap up the backside by Greg, and obviously we saw in the first race that Larry spun off.
We were sitting in with Dick Johnson there in Shell Helix in-car camera. We're now having a look inside Wayne Gardner's machine. The man of the moment, really. Qualified second, finished second in the opening race, won the second race in that terrific duel. We're getting ourselves set for a start. Race 3, the third and final event on the program. Watch for the green light. There it is. Away we go. This is it. Can Gardner make it? A winning round. He doesn't get away to the best of the starts at Seaton.
Maybe just Seaton by the looks of it.
A great start by the Ford Credit Falcon. He comes blasting down the outside. It is Glenn Seaton who will take him into turn 1. Gardner has tucked up into second.
Bowe.
John Bowe has come blasting through.
Nearly second. Oh dear, that's getting a bit close.
We ride now with Dick Johnson, the Shell Helix in-car camera. We're on top of Dick's car, though, having a look at the field, trying to sort themselves out. Peter Brock out to the outside there. They all get through that section of the circuit okay, but it's Glenn Seaton who's just bolted away. Mark Scaife is up in third. There's the two Castrol Perkins Commodores sorting themselves out just ahead of what looked like Mark Poole.
Boy, you got to hand it to Bowie. That was a brilliant start, wasn't it?
John Bowe is up there in fourth position. Blasted through on the inside, so it's Seaton, Gardner, Bowe. There your top three. Here we have a look at it. Scaife is, Scaife is up in the top 3 ahead of Bowe. He's right behind Gardner. Mark Scaife's had a good night. He's still up there in the points, not too far out of it.
Well, he has, and when you consider he hasn't done much testing and the old budget doesn't exist, he's not doing too bad at all.
Coopers and Lybrand giving the Gibson Motorsport team some support. Here we go. Have a look at this. Greg Murphy and John Bowe.
Oh, no. I spoke to Greg Murphy. He didn't lock up the brakes. He missed a gear coming into the right-hander at the end of the straight and just locked it up. He couldn't get second, and he said that if he had got it, it was just too late, and he just went straight on. That was it, but he wasn't too pleased with himself. Greg
always has high expectations of his own performance, and he would have been, I would imagine, a little bit disappointed with himself. Well, a little bit disappointed with himself.
That's an understatement, I think.
Watching the Coke Commodore of Wayne Gardner. He's got a 6-point lead at the moment going into the final round. We have a look at out of the back of Gardner's Coke Commodore. There's Mark Scaife looking for an option, any option, as they come onto the main straight.
I tell you what's interesting, speaking of Brocky said he didn't have it, he couldn't get any grip, and he's made a load of changes to his car. Yet Greg Murphy, same thing, same tyre, same everything, and he looks like he was going okay.
He was going unbelievably. Here comes Scaife, locks it up.
Incredible. You can see the disc glowing.
Disc glowing, flames blowing all over the back of Wayne Gardner. Have a look at this. Gardner has got a real battle on his hands. Mark Scaife is running hot to trot at the moment. Here is the Shell Helix update for you. Seaton, Gardner, Scaife, Bowe and Murphy. There your top 5 at the minute. Here goes Scaife with an inside look.
Oh, dear.
Switches to the outside. We're in the back of Gardner's car right now as we have a look at the Coopers and Lybrand Commodore. Mark Scaife looks for the inside.
Whoa,
got him.
Move. That was good. That was hot. That was good stuff.
So Mark Scaife is up into second position, his highest position on today's card. Sitting in behind Glenn Seaton, who is just gradually trickling away. We go on board now.
I tell you what, Gardner's thing isn't down on horsepower in the straight line, is it?
just pulled out and had a look up the outside of Mark Scaife now tucks in behind him. So it's Seaton, Scaife, Gardner. They're your top three. We ride now with Wayne in the Coke Commodore. That Scaife Commodore just belching flames out all the time. Pretty spectacular under lights here at Calder.
Oh, it is incredible. You know, it's you wouldn't think it would look that different, but even when you get outside and see it for real, it looks 100% better than it does in the daylight.
Gardner's going to have to keep a keen eye on his mirrors because he's got the young gun right in behind him too. Greg Murphy is right on the pace in this third and final race. He's sitting back third in the points, 10 points adrift of Gardner, so he's got nothing to lose.
I think Greg Murphy's team were a little bit sort of miffed that he went straight on. It wasn't his fault, you know, it wasn't a sort of do-or-die braking job, but I think you'll find that he won't take too many risks in this one. He'll just get some points because it's 30 race series and you don't win it in the first race.
There's a long way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
234 kilometres per hour down the main straight. That is the time. The speed, rather, for Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon. We're watching Greg Murphy now manoeuvre the HRT Mobile Commodore around this Calder Park circuit. There's your leader. He zooms through. Scaife, Gardner. Then we go back to Murphy Bowes, sitting back in 5th position ahead of Russell Ingall, Larry Perkins, Alan Jones, Mark Poole and John Faulkner. They're your top 10.
That's Ingall.
Here's the battle.
Ingall having a go at Bowie. Oh, good one.
Bow just drifted a little wide there and allowed Russell Ingall to dive up the inside. Didn't have to wait for a second invitation. And they come onto the main straight one more time. Seaton has got around about a little over a second over Mark Scaife at the moment. Scaife is going really well.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's quite a turnaround, isn't it? Because Scaife hasn't, you know, sort of shone the whole week. Well, the whole weekend he wasn't too happy, but all of a sudden he's up there.
Qualified in 3rd position for the opening race. As we have a look at the Shell Helix race score for you, Seaton still leads away from the man we were talking about, Mark Scaife. Gardner back in 3rd, Murphy in 4th, Russell Ingall in 5th. Whatever you do, stick around here on 10 Sunday of Sport. We'll be back with more of race 3. Welcome back to Calder Park. We continue. The action continues here in race 3, the 3rd and final race. You're watching the battle for 3rd and 4th between the Coke Commodore of Wayne Gardner and the Mobile Commodore of Greg Murphy. He won the first race, finished further back in the second, and you're looking to get up into the top 3 in this one.
I tell you what, I don't reckon it's going to be long before the old Murphy's past Wayne. He's really giving him the hurry up now.
Coming down hard under brakes. This is the view from the back of Wayne Gardner's Coca-Cola Commodore. Greg Murphy trying everything that he possibly can. Drifting a little high there on the ripple strip. Now hard under brakes. Murphy's shown us just how good he is under brakes. There's the gap for you as they come over the strike one more time. They've completed 7 laps of this 20-lapper. Murphy won't give in. There's the gap.
Good on the brakes.
That shot illustrates it well, Vaz, that the gap, the interval between 1st and 2nd back to Scaife and then back to Gardner and how close Murphy is. There's Ingall back in 5th position.
It's funny, when you've made a mistake like Greg Murphy did in the first race, every time you come to that corner again, you think, oh, no, I mustn't do the same thing again. And you would think, you know, once you've done a couple of laps, it's out of your mind, but it's always in there.
Our man on the ground is Mark Osler. Mark, how are you seeing this one?
Well, it's interesting, Lee. I was just talking to Alan Heafy, the boss of the Coke Racing team, and watching Wayne lose a couple of positions early in this 3rd heat. I thought there might have been something wrong with the car. Maybe it was lacking grip or something. Alan said, no, Wayne's just very much aware of the point situation. We want to win this thing, so he's driving very conservative, very safely.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, Mark, because just got the nod from our statistician, Nigel Greenway, that if Seaton remains in 1st, Gardner remains in 3rd, they'll be level on points. But, of course, the better result in the latter event, Seaton will win the round.
See Murphy locking him up there. Oof.
So Gardner's got to go one better. He's got to try and get up there and mix it with Mark Scaife. We'll hope that something happens to the 2 lead cars, which we don't want to happen. But sitting where he is at the minute is not quite good enough for Wayne Gardner. Although we must say he still will get plenty of points.
Well, he's got to be pleased with it. I spoke to him and he said he was, you know, really happy. And also he commended Seaton, because he said Seaton could have really been difficult. He got held up with some back markers. That's why I called him up so quickly. But he was really nice. You know, he didn't exactly let him pass, but he said he could have been a lot more difficult than he was.
There he goes. Greg Murphy, the man we're talking about. Let's go on board. We are on board now with Glenn Seaton, the race leader, and the Ford Credit Falcon, working hard behind the wheel. He's currently on his 9th lap.
And when you talk to this guy, you would never believe somebody like him could drive a race car the way he does. He's the nicest, quietest kind of guy you could ever wish to meet. And, you know, it's just really, you expect racing drivers, riders to be really aggressive. Have a listen to this, listen. The old brakes and the gearbox going down through the gears. Whoa! Oh,
it's coming up on the inside of John Trimble.
I think he's going to turn in.
Has a quick look in the rearview mirror just to see how far Scaife is behind him. He's got around about almost a 2-second buffer over Mark Scaife at the moment. He comes over the strike one more time, so that's the halfway mark.
You can see the readout there on his speed readout on the LED thing. You can see it just between steering wheel.
Yep. Seaton, 240 kilometres an hour. The gap between he and Mark Scaife is starting to decrease. So Scaife starting to bridge that gap. It was up at almost 2 seconds. Now it's 1.23 seconds. So Mark Scaife starting to come on strong towards the latter half of this one.
Well, it's interesting because they're both on different tyres. One's on Bridgestone, Scaife is on Yokohama's, as is Gardner, and Murphy is Murphy.
Glenn Seaton, Mark Scaife, things are starting to tighten up now. In fact, Gardner has bridged the gap as well on Scaife. So we saw Wayne come on very strong in the last race to work his way past Glenn Seaton and win. He might be able to weave a little bit of magic here and get himself past Scaife. And in fact, if he finishes in that second position...
Oh, now back marker city. Here we go.
Oh, and Scaife has gone. Mark Scaife has gone. Out. Oh, that is very disappointing for Mark Scaife. We were riding with Wayne Gardner. You saw it through Gardner's windscreen. He just drifted off the end of the straight.
Well, it's... same old story. You're under pressure, you're trying as hard as you can. If you back it off, you're going to get beaten. If you go into it, you're going to outbrake yourself, and that's what Scaife did.
Poor old Mark Scaife, he's going to have to keep a keen eye out, because here comes John Bowe. Here is the Shell Helix replay.
Well, look at the disc, look at that. Oh, what a great shot of the disc, look.
Awesome. Just glowing. So hot. And poor old Mark Scaife has just gone off the end of the straight. That allowed Gardner and Murphy to come on through. As Seaton crosses the strike one more time. 12 laps down, 8 laps left to run.
Be great to get in-car sound. I wonder what Scaife said then.
Gardner is now up into second position, and that really helps his points chances. If he remains where he is and Seaton remains where he is, Gardner will take out the round.
Exactly that, and Gardner's got just a little bit over 2 seconds on Murphy. So, you know, basically Gardner can just afford to take it easy.
It's all happening here at Calder Park. Fantastic V8 supercar action. Stick around. We'll be back after this. Thanks for joining us on 10 Sunday of Sport. You're watching Race 3, Round 1 of the 97 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. And that's Greg Murphy hanging it out. The Mobile Commodore. He is sitting back at the moment in third position, fighting hard to maintain that third spot. Seaton and Gardner are ahead of him at the moment. I was just explaining before we went to the break that if Gardner can remain where he is, there's a Shell Helix update for you. Seaton, Gardner, Murphy, Ingall and Scaife. Poor old Mark Scaife, due to that...
oh, he's struggling a bit to get past Derek, and oh, dear, he went.
Oh, that's allowed Ingall. Look at Russell Ingall's all over the back. All over the back. Oh, a bit of a nudge there. Russell gives him a bit of a touch-up, a couple of touch-ups.
Dear me.
They come onto the main straight. Keep your eye on this, the battle between Ingall and Murphy. Murph's got just a little, looks like just a little more straight line speed there over Russell.
It did look a little bit like that, didn't it?
Coming into the bottom turn, let's have a look what Russell Ingall's got up his sleeve.
His arm, I think, because he'll never get around the outside. Scaife back up in the picture again. Look.
Here he is on the inside.
Gotcha.
The big nudge on the inside.
Oh, God. Out.
Can he save it?
Can he? Yes, he has.
Well done, Greg Murphy.
Whoa.
He hung on to it. I thought it was Tyre Wall City there for a moment. There you go.
Oh, JP.
Ingall had more up his sleeve than his arm.
You're right. Yeah. Oh, dear, that was a good one, wasn't it? Like that.
Bit of push and shove from Russell Ingall.
JB, yes, gotcha.
So they're coming from everywhere, the challenges. Poor old Greg Murphy's getting pushed back position by position each time the further he goes around the track.
And I think he can hear his team manager's voice echoing in his ears.
Oh, look at that! He's coming from Alan Jones.
Oh, wow. It's not Murphy's day, is it?
This is the big hello and welcome to V8 Supercar racing for Greg Murphy. His first Shell Australian touring car round, and the regulars have made him feel welcome.
He can hear his team manager saying, we want to get some points.
Here's the battle now for third. Russell Ingall has taken over that third spot, but Mark Scaife wants to get back up into the top three. He was running second earlier on. The Coopers and Lybrand Commodore is running hot. Keep your eye on this one. Remember, out in front at Seaton and Gardner, they're doing just fine. There's about a 2-second gap between them out in front. We're in the dying stages of this third and final race, and this is the battle between Russell Ingall in the Castrol Commodore and Mark Scaife. Mark Osler, this one's a ripper.
Has a stop wall to wall, isn't it? We're just watching Alan Jones come past the pits that time around. A lot of smoke belching from the back of the Komatsu Falcon. There may have been some damage on that turn when he came onto the pit straight. We'll keep an eye on that.
Onto the main straight they come again. Ingall and Scaife.
It does look like Ingall's thing's got some horsepower over Scaife's.
It was interesting that the previous lap, wasn't it? The HRT car over the Castrol car, and then Ingall's car.
Oh, no!
Mark Scaife has done it again. He's just overcooked it. Let's hope he can get back on and maintain at least a top 10 position if everything's okay. Having a bit of trouble getting going again. Now he finds gear and away he goes. Rejoins the circuit okay. Hang on to it, Mark. There's only a couple of laps left now. I'm not quite sure if that was Murphy who just went around there. Here's the Shell Helix replay.
Just locks her up. You see there, back end locked up and nothing you can do about it. See the old front brakes. I think probably the front brakes are getting really hot, so that makes the back end work better and just locks up and nothing you can do about it.
A couple of our privateers at the back there, Darren Hossack joining the V8 Supercar ranks. Here's Greg Murphy weaving his way around. He is now back in 8th position as he comes across the strike. Caught back there with John Faulkner and a few of the guys. We have a look now at Glenn Seaton. We go back up the front of the pack. He's driven a very sensible race, a good race, and there's the gap back to Gardner. It's now almost creeping up towards 3 seconds. It was under 2 seconds earlier on, so I'd say Gardner's just happy to just consolidate and settle for second.
Perfect, yeah, he's got 5 seconds over Russell Ingall, so there's no need to rush. That's good. That's nice for Gardner to get a, you know, it all come together for, you know, he was nearly in tears earlier on.
Well, it's a fantastic, just positive start for 97, which is what the Coke team needed as Glenn Seaton brings it onto the main straight. We are getting very close to
last lap.
The end of this one. Wayne Gardner, let's hope everything can hold together for this final lap. He is on his way to his first Shell Australian Touring Car win. And I don't mean a race win, I mean a round win. And he thoroughly deserves it after the way he's driven here tonight. Then this third and final one, all the credit's going to go to the Ford Credit Falcon of Glenn Seaton. Got away to a terrific start.
Oh, yeah, you've got to say that Seaton is really good at starts. There's no doubt whatsoever. And it makes life so much easier. You can get into the first corner first rather than getting like 3 paces down. So it gives you so much work to do that you don't really need.
He's going to bring it home, and he's going to give the Ford fans something to cheer about because they've brought it on home ahead of the Holdens for this third and final one. Well done, Glenn Seaton. He takes out race 3 here at round 1 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship for 97. There he is. No excess of emotion. He just seems quite happy and content. He comes in for the win ahead of Wayne Gardner and Russell Ingall. According to our records, has hung on to third. A good, sensible drive, Barry.
Oh, yeah, I think getting back to Seaton, it's just really, it's good for him to start off the season in a sort of decent way by comparison to, you know what it's like, if you start off the season in a bad way, it just never ever seems to go right. Like, Gardner would be, just have a look at his face, he would be so happy.
Very, very happy, and he thoroughly deserves it. Gardner winding his way on in. Let's check the Shell Helix race score for you. Glenn Seaton in for the win, Wayne Gardner in for second. Russell Ingall did hang on for third ahead of John Bowe up into fourth, and Alan Jones in for fifth.
Yeah, it's good. Sixth place, Larry Perkins. Seventh, Greg Murphy's had a baptism of fire from Steve Ellery, Mark Paul and Peter Brock.
It's been a fantastic first round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. When we come back, we'll wrap things up.
Welcome back to Calder Park Raceway. Well, it's ended up being a pretty chilly night here, but it certainly didn't cool down the action. It was hot from start to finish. Our top place privateer today, Mark Poole from South Australia. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
That was a great drive. A lot of competition out there in the privateer ranks now, but you came through.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't chilly out there. Yeah, we're really thankful Scotch Transport for supporting us, and Gawler Farm Machinery, all the fellas out there, and the Bridgestone tyres were just amazing.
Well done, Mark. We look forward to seeing you in future rounds. Third place today, and a very hard-fought third place, Russell Ingall. Well done, Russell. Castrol Commodore very strong at Albert Park last weekend. Not quite so strong here. Look, you're really battling out there.
Yeah, we're struggling a little bit. We didn't exactly have the right compound, but that's why I told the boy she wasn't coming back in one piece, and she looks pretty second-hand, but no, we got the result, so what the hell.
Looked like you were working pretty hard out there. Some of those battles were pretty physical.
Bloody hard. I mean, everyone was skidding around. I think everyone's tyres were sort of a bit second-hand, so everyone was just really trying to hang on to it and stop from spearing off into the fence, but it was a great race, and I'm sure it's going to look pretty good on TV.
Yeah, you have to agree with that. It looked fantastic. Russell Ingall third today. Second place. And the first of the Fords, Glenn Seaton. Just talking about Russell having a battle there, looked like you were having just as tough a battle out there as well.
Yeah, it was really. It was getting a bit skatey, but no, I was really happy with the night, really, because we sort of got better as the night went on, and just hopefully we can continue with the championship. But without Ford Credit and Mobil and Bridgestone and Ingersoll Rand, it'd be very difficult to do this sort of job.
Was it not a challenge driving out there in the dark? It certainly looked dark. Some of those places looked like you couldn't see where you were going.
Not really. The only hard bit was actually the braking markers, to find your braking markers, because I use braking markers on the track and not the ones on the side. So it was difficult there for a little while, but you just sort of guessed them.
Congratulations, Glenn. Look forward to seeing you later in the championship. At this point in time, I'd like to represent Ross Brodie from the Shell Oil Company to make the presentation to our big winner today, and I'm sure you'll all agree, a very deserving winner, Wayne Gardner. Boy, oh boy, Wayne, this has been a long, long wait. 3 very tough years. It's been a lot of pain as well, but you finally got there. Well done.
It certainly has, Mark. You know, it's quite an emotional moment, really, for the team, because, you know, they've stuck by me, and I've grown plenty of grey hairs over the last 3 years, and, you know, this was rededicated, obviously, to my team, to Alan, to Wally, to all the guys. They just stuck with me through the hard times, and it's nice to pull a win off and pull our first proper one off, and a fair and square one. And you know, if it also hadn't been for the team, for their dedication, and also the continuous backing from Coke and from Coca-Cola and from Holden as well, and now my new sponsor Yokohama, I'm very, very happy to be on Yokohama tyres.
It has been a real struggle. Looking at your reaction there when you got out of the car after you won Heat 2, it was almost like you won the World Championship.
Well, you know, it was quite an emotional moment, because, you know, it's been a real battle to get up to the front, and you know, it's been obviously a tyre struggle, and it's been set-up struggle, it's been a money and funding struggle. You can't believe what we've been through, and so it's a real emotional moment, I think, for the team more than anything. And you know, and to race up against Glenn and Russell and all the really good guys here, it's a good feeling to beat them today, and I'm very, very proud.
Fantastic, Wayne. It's good to see you so competitive, and we hope you have a real good battle in the championship. Wayne Gardner, the big winner at Calder Park Raceway this evening. Lee Diffie, we certainly have a championship on our hands.
Mark, we most certainly do. Let's check the Drivers' Championship points for you after the opening round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship.
Well, there we go. Top of the pops with 82 points in the Coca-Cola Commodore is Wayne Gardner, from Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon, and Russell Ingall in the Castrol Commodore.
Greg Murphy back in 4th position in the Mobile Holden Racing Team vehicle. Alan Jones back in 5th position, and John Bow in the Shell Helix Falcon back in 6th position. And Barry, after the opening round of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship, your thoughts? It was a great night.
I thought it was great. You know, if you haven't seen the big V8s, you've got to see them, and under lights they look spectacular.
I think one of the most spectacular things, one of the most attractive things, was the glowing brake disc, especially on Mark Scaife's car.
Yeah, he didn't think so, though. Yeah, that was really... When I saw the first race tonight, I thought, yeah, that was pretty good, and then the second one was better, and the last one was the best of the lot.
In between the races, there's always plenty of whisper in the paddock, in the pits, and people were expecting Murph just to run away with all 3, but certainly didn't happen that way.
Well, I think he got a bit of a talking to from his team manager, and I felt a bit sorry for him because it did look like people were out to get him in the last one. But it was good racing, you know, really good evening sport.
Well, we look forward to the next round, and we look forward to plenty more motorsport coming up here on Network 10. Let's have a look at it. The 1997 World Superbike Championship kicks off next weekend at Phillip Island between 2 and 5 p.m, hosted by Bill Woods and our own Barry Sheen. Coming up also in the not too far distant future is the Sunbelt Gold Coast Indy Carnival. That's going to be fantastic. And finally, the next round of the 1997 Shell Australian Touring Car Championship is at Phillip Island on the 13th of April. Well, on behalf of Barry Sheen and Mark Osler, I'm Lee Diffie. We look forward to your company next time.